Hello YouTube and welcome back to another Dare to Game video. Today we're playing Mount and Blade Bannerlord and we're doing another wife guide. So this one's going to be the top 5 best Battanian wives. And so like I've said in previous videos, this is mostly just for male characters looking for wives, so it's not a spouse guide in general. That being said, if you're playing as a female character and you want to marry a male, you just look for whatever unmarried male in the faction you're looking for has the most stuff. So if you can marry the king, excellent. If not, the leader of a clan is fantastic. Age doesn't play a factor nearly as much. It's mostly just about how much stuff they have. So it's a little bit different. As far as the female ones, again, we're going to be looking for age, so we want them to be nice and young, and of course, good starting characteristics, so we don't want them to be terribly cruel or anything, and we also want to be able to put up with their personality, and then of course, just starting stats for governing and military/tactical stuff. Those are all the things that get considered. A lot of people put a lot of stock in the armor that the spouse is wearing, but like I always say, armor is really easy to get. It doesn't make any sense to choose your spouse based solely off the armor you can steal from them. Just get it somewhere else. So with all that in mind, let's just dive on in and start off with number 5 for the Battanian wives. So at number 5, we have TAORSE, or TAORSE. I'm not sure how exactly you pronounce that. She is from the Fen clan, and it says, TAORSE is a member of the Fen, a noble family of the Battanians. She has the reputation of being honorable. So, for starters, she's an honorable spouse, which is always great. For another thing, she starts out very young, at 18, obviously, which is, you know, the youngest they can be to marry them in the game. And so she's plenty young to have a nice long career of being your wife with maybe plenty of children or whatever. You know, it depends exactly what you want your wife for, but it's always good to start nice and young because, you know, that way hopefully they don't die of old age very early. As far as the clan they come from, it is not very large. It's one of the smaller clans, clan tier 3 starting off. They really only have the one castle here, so nothing all that special, but if you want to marry, head on over to Ardweir and talk to him about it. Other things to talk about with her, starting skills. No real combative skills to talk about starting off, which makes sense considering she's only 18, but she does have 100 riding, so if you're gonna try to make a warrior out of her, I suggest some form of cavalry. Outside of that, our starting skills for governor are decent because she's got 80 for steward and 61 for trade, so if you, like me, like having your wife run your capital or your major settlement or whichever settlement you're focusing on at the time, she's a good one for it because these aren't the best, but they're definitely better than a lot of people's starting abilities as far as governing goes. Nothing in the reigns of charm, which I would like to see a little bit more of, but definitely decent for steward and trade. And then again, like we said, no bad traits for her, just honest, which is always solid. So like I said, good wife for having children with. She's nice and young starting off, and she makes a solid governor right away.
I don't think I know you. Peace to you, stranger.
Personality-wise, she's definitely not annoying. I find her to be perfectly fine. She seems to be welcoming and agreeable, not snarky and sarcastic or condescending or anything like that, which is always something I like to avoid in this game. But yeah, seriously, a lot of people probably have never heard of her or never considered marrying her in the game, but I think she makes a good wife for the Battanian faction at least. So that's number 5. Let's move on to number 4. Alright, so at number 4, we have FLORAIDH. FLORAIDH? I don't know, something like that. The names for Battania are always the hardest for me to pronounce. But she is another lesser-known Battanian wife that I think is actually a pretty solid one. So it says, FLORAIDH is a member of the Fen, a noble family of the Battanians. She has the reputation of being fierce and cruel. And you can see Fen, of course, being slightly more powerful in the Battanian scheme of things. Really only the one settlement still, but they're clan tier 4 starting off, so just a slightly more powerful clan to start with. Outside of that, you can see for skills, we've got a little bit of both, so slightly more for leaning towards her for like a military commander. You can see we've got 60 in tactics, which is nice, 100 in riding, 60 in leadership, so she makes a pretty good general starting off. So if you want to have your wife leading a clan party, you know, out fighting and stuff, she's definitely better at that starting off than a lot of wives are. But she does have 100 charm, which is good. That's a governing skill that makes her better at governing settlements. So I find that she works either or. You could either have her leading a war party or governing your settlement, and I find that she adapts to it pretty well. Like I said, she's only 22 starting off, so definitely young enough to have plenty of children and do all sorts of other wifely things. As far as traits, daring, which is good, and that leads into her as a good military commander. And then cruel, which can be a little rough. It helps if you're role-playing as a cruel character, so you're doing stuff like raiding caravans and beheading people. It won't bother her, so if you're going to go into that type type of playthrough, she makes a good spouse. But outside of that, I just think she's a good jack of all trades. She can either be placed as a governor or a war party leader, and she does passably well at both of those.
Well now, stranger. Peace to you. What is your name?
Personality-wise, she's not bad. Like I said, she's never annoyed me. I try not to pick anyone for any of these lists that I find annoying or condescending or anything like that. So, you know, it should go without saying that she's not, but she isn't. So that's number 4. FLORAIDH is how I'm going to keep calling her until I figure it out. Let's move on to number 3. So at number 3, right in the middle, we have WYTHUIN. Again, don't know how to pronounce the name. But another one that can go either way. Makes a very solid wife. Now, she does start off being slightly older at 25, but I find that's fine. Really, anything under 30 in the game starting off is fine. You're just going to want to make sure you jump on it right away and make sure that you're producing children at a good enough rate, because most of the spouses that I find in general, like I said, there's exceptions to this, but most of the time you stop having kids in the mid-30s in this game. So sometimes there are spouses older than that will still have kids, so I'm not saying don't try, but I find that oftentimes they will stop by the time that they get into their 30s. Anyway, so she is young enough for that. She is, well, it says WYTHUIN is a member of the Fen-Uvain, a noble family of the Battanians. She has the reputation of being friendly, but manipulative. And like I said, she's part of Fen-Uvain. Again, another slightly more powerful one, so tier 4. This one does start off with a city and a castle, so slightly more prestigious from that regard. And Meladir being the leader of that clan. The only negative thing I've got about her is the manipulative part, and she's got the devious trait, so not the best thing in the world that you're looking for a wife, but again, if you're playing that style of playthrough, maybe you're going to be manipulative and devious, then she's not bad for it. Other than that, she's generous and calculating, which are good traits for a wife. As far as starting stats, she makes a very, very good governor, one of the best that you can find anywhere in the game, but definitely in Battania. So you can see starting off, we have 141 for steward, 121 for trade, and 160 for charm. That makes her a very good governor. And now a lot of people will ask, they'll ask in comments and stuff, how do I make my cities more profitable or safer or whatever? Get a good governor. The better your governor is and the better they are at certain things, the better they're going to help your town prosper. And so having a high trade skill is going to help you make more money. Having a high charm skill is going to help your citizens be happier and have less security problems and stuff like that. And having a high steward skill, again, it helps them organize and manage logistics, helps your projects go better, and helps all of your basic needs of your town get fulfilled in a better manner. So having all that from the start makes her a very, very good governor. As far as combat skills, nothing really there to talk about. Again, just riding. Other than that, nothing of note.
Peace to you, stranger. What is your name?
You can see armor-wise, she starts out kind of looking like a wildling. So if you want to get some armor, that's decent enough armor. It's nothing crazy fancy, but I guess it's better than what you start with. But not annoying. Definitely a solid personality that you can put up with throughout the whole game. So that's number 3. Let's move on to number 2. So at number 2, our runner-up, we have LADOGUAL. And she's going to be a lot of people's favorites, and definitely is one of my favorites as far as spouses in the game go. She definitely makes a solid choice. So for starters, you can see, well, just up at the top, LADOGUAL is a member of the Fen-Uvain, a noble family of the Battanians. She has the reputation of being friendly, but manipulative. And so if we look at that clan, we're led by Ergion, but we're a more powerful clan, so one of the most powerful clans in Battania. They start off with a city and a castle, and Ergion is the leader of this clan. So if you want to marry her, you got to go talk to him. But as far as stuff going on for her, for traits, she's calculating and generous, which are good, but she's also devious and cautious, which can be okay. I see her as kind of a anomaly, because she does start off with quite good combat skills, but she is a little cautious, which sometimes screws up battle plans and sees her getting captured or trying, escaping, but losing a number of her troops in the process. So she doesn't make as good of a general as you would think she does. But she's still better than a lot of spouse options as a general, obviously. You can see starting stats are not bad. We got 100 for tactics and leadership, which makes her good at leading a party. But personal combat skills, 100 for bow, 100 for riding, 120 for polearm, 80 for crossbow, 120 for one-handed, 120 for two-handed, 80 for athletics, 80 for throwing. So she's definitely very, very balanced in all forms of combat. Makes her good in tournaments. And then she does have some governing skills. So we have 62 for steward, which isn't great, but it's definitely better than a lot of people, and 80 for charm, which is quite a bit better than a lot of people. So I find that she makes, she's another option that is really solid for either way. You can either have her in your party as a warrior, you could have her leading a war party, or you could have her as a governor of your settlement, and she's going to do good at all of those things. She is only 21, so definitely plenty young for that. Nothing real bad to talk about with her, and of course she does start out with some really great armor, so if your goal is just to steal armor off your spouse, she's got one of the best chest pieces of armor in the game.
Stop there, stranger. I bid you peace. At least until I find out who you are, anyway.
So personality-wise, not the greatest in the world. Again, like most of your wives that you find out leading armies and stuff, she's going to be a little bit more suspicious, a little bit more headstrong, all that sort of stuff. So maybe it comes off as a little annoying, but I don't find her to be particularly annoying. So she gets good marks for me, and LADOGUAL is definitely, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but she's definitely a solid Battanian wife option. So that's number 2. Let's move on to number 1. And of course at number 1, we've got everybody's favorite Battanian wife, and some people's favorite wife overall in the entire game, COREIN. And so there's a lot of stuff to say about her, but just for starters, I mean, one thing to keep in mind is that her, at least one of her stats here, Steward, does not start that high. I've had her managing my town for this whole playthrough so far, at least since I married her, so she's definitely gaining more. I mean, it's not that long, but she's definitely leveling up from that. But like I said, she is my spouse in here. You can see that she is currently pregnant, which is awesome. I'm gonna have a kid in here. Lots of fun. She is 19. It says COREIN is a member of the Fenlone, that's my clan, a rising new clan in the lands of Battanian. She has a reputation of being fierce and cruel. So if you want her as a warrior, she's fierce and cruel, which can be fun for combat and stuff, but can make her a little bit annoying personality-wise. But she's also daring, so if you want her leading a war party, she's quite good at that. And other than, like I said, the Steward, which she's gaining most of that from stewarding this town, you can see that she's quite good in combat areas. So like really high things like 273 for athletics, 120 for charm, 140 for tactics, 140 for leadership. You know, really solid combat stats. So she definitely, a lot of people will call her the Honey Badger. I get a kick out of that nickname, but it's not totally unearned. She's very small, but she's definitely very fierce at fighting. So outside of the clan that she's currently in, because she's married to me, her father is Caladog, so the leader of Fen Grufendok. So if you want to marry her, that's who you go talk to. It's the, like I said, the leader of all of the Battanians. So she's the princess of the Battanians, I guess. So that also plays into the prestige of marrying her, I guess.
I'm yours to command.
And who doesn't like walking in to talk to their wife there and hearing, "I'm yours to command"? It's funny. But anyway, so that's COREIN. I'm sure a lot of people, especially if you've been playing the game for a long time and you're familiar with the Battanian faction, that you knew she was going to be number 1, because she's not only the best Battanian spouse, but one of the best in the entire game. So that's all 5. Like I said, out of all of the available ones to marry in Battania, I find these 5 to be the absolute best. If you've got different ones that you prefer, let me know down in the comment section, or if you don't think it matters, let me know down in the comment section. But that's all for today, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching another Dare to Game video. If you like this video, please leave a like and a comment. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like my content and would like to support this channel, consider becoming a member today for as little as $1.99 a month. It makes a huge difference. But in any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day. I'll see you next time.